Mm, okay. Hi, everyone. This is Professional High Priestess. I'm just here to do a coding tutorial update. So one of the things that's happening here is you guys know that they have been putting different type of encoding on the internet and then also on entire companies. So if you have a Dell, all the Dells are tapped. If you have Apple, all the Apples are getting tapped because they're trying to create like a file and folder type system where you can search certain keywords and things like that out of thousands of like parcels and messages of data to be able to find specific keywords, videos, things like that. Okay. So what's happening here is something really vicious happened where I was able to block that from my computer and it broke the file. Well, basically what ended up happening was the file and folder system that Apple is on, my computer has overpowered that. So what ends up happening is anytime I move a file from one folder to another, it gets logged in the Akasha and it gets approved, right? So that it can go ahead and stop that. So let's say, for instance, somebody's trying to get into my computer and have access to like any of these on my desktop. Let me just show you my desktop. So let's say somebody's trying to get access to these on my desktop. They would have to go ahead and like their coding would have to go ahead and get approved in the Akasha to be able to have access to my files. Sorry about that. So that they can go ahead and search different things that they want. Even when they try to search files on my computer using my what's that thing called? My serial number or whatnot, my files are not going to come up. It's going to be hard to populate my files in their file and folder system and do those type of things because I have something on my computer that I coded here, which is the speech. So now one of the things that I want to show you is you guys see right here, I was just writing speech and I saved this. It's called master text-based speech. So I saved it here in the computer science file that I have. Now I'm going to show you this, right? And it's saying here, this document cannot be saved. You don't have permission to write to the folder that it's saved in. So this is protected, this computer science, because there's speech in it. There's pictures of the aquatic being, and then there's speech in it too. That goes ahead and says, "Oh, don't do that, don't do this." She's the one controlling my computer right now. Her mind is controlling my computer, her neural network, because I've coded it down here and I brought her down her image and I've allowed her to use spell work on my computer. So now what's going to go ahead and happen is you're seeing that, okay, so it's right here. Let me show you, master. Let me just go like this. Master space speech. It's right here. And it's saved at 637. I think that that's so funny. The last time that is saved, I've been doing upgrades and edits to my computer. But there's a specific speech in the aquatic warfare speech. There's specific speech in the aquatic warfare speech. And it's basically saying like, my systems can overpower their systems. So it's three different speech that I brought down here today. This is a lot. This is like over 210 lines of coding. This is coding too. So in a system, right here it says, in an instant, God shatters the computer over their head. You wage war on their digits. Their computer bows to your computer, right? In an instant, you formulate a system to take over their computer. In an instant, you have a system for rectifying the computer harms. These are all different sets of speech. They're neural networks that come from different aquatic beings. So there's one specific one that I was like using here recently to organize files and folder systems, right? And it says here, um, okay, okay, here it says there is a world of databases that comes down through an astrological floating point. The floating point is of three planets timed and then added. So you're going to do multiplication of two planets and then you're going to add the last planet. Okay. Floating point, that floating point is of three planets timed and added to indicate database times database plus file. You are now able to program 8 types of database designs from the first planet and 6 communication types in the second planet, the way in which the databases communicate, right? So those 8 databases, they have 6 ways of communicating, no matter which one it is. You have the last planet holding 24 outcomes, and that's like file and folder outcomes, and like this file and file is this folder folder. You can have file file folder 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 file file, that type of thing, right? In 4 places, which are file and folder organization, and 6 ways they are organized, right? So that's gonna let you go ahead and, like, let's say for instance you're in a computer program or you're building like a hacking tech, you can bring down an organization of a database, and then you can say how you want to organize people's data inside of that database that you just crafted, right? Okay, good. So now one of the things that's happening here is you can use the speech on yourself. The thing is, you just don't write it out in English and it works. So unless I put you in the Akasha, you guys can use that. And you guys want to learn how to code and bring things down. But this is like how you basically build your own like PHP. And I'm only showing you guys this because I feel like one of the things that needed to happen is you guys needed to see I used it on my computer because it says not saved. And it's saying that I didn't have access to this. It's not locked. You see, this document could not be auto saved. You don't have permission to write to the folder that the file is in, but I do. I'm just going to go ahead and say, oh, I reorganized my file and folder system because the way that my computer is acting is as if there's somebody from outside of my computer playing because they put some type of master encoding Apple on my computer. They're playing with some hacking tech, but my computer overpowered their computer. I shattered the computer over their head, right? Literally, and then figuratively. So then, because that's very Ethiopian to talk like that. So then, or very Igbo, what's going to happen here is I'm going to go ahead and edit the Akasha and I'm going to say, this is fine. I'm going to go ahead and overpower that whole system. But what I can do is I can invert that coding and then I can have access to every single Apple computer just from my computer. Wow. Because somebody was that fucking stupid. And then I can access every single phone from something that they put onto my Android phone. So there's white men that follow me when I go to study to the library, things like that. There's white men that follow me. They don't know that because they're following me because they're fucking stupid and think trying to put blast radiation into my hair, which made all my hair fall out and striated my teeth. What's going to end up happening here is they don't actually understand that it's just speech, right? And they don't understand that there's actually something on my phone that when they come near me, their phone gets tapped, and then the feds have that too. So a lot of these stupid, delusional ass white people that have been following me, driving around in cars and starting a bunch of shit, they exposed their whole little alien network and what the fuck they were doing with those different RFID devices. This is how they trained Google Maps and a bunch of other ShotSpotter and other technology. They have access to everyone's phone or they're playing with everyone's GPS on their car and stuff like that and playing with astrological floating points. Right. Right. So what's going to end up happening now is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to let you guys know that this is one of the ways that you guys can start learning how to code. So how do you write this speech? You have to go and put yourself in the Akasha and you can like start to draw this speech down and write it down. So now what ends up happening here is you guys have seen this. Oh, but I want to go ahead and show you what happens when I put it in the Akasha. So I'm just going to go ahead and put it in the Akasha that I'm using this new file folder system, and it's okay for this file to go ahead and access this folder. So if it was like a folder accessing a file, let's say a specific type of like a software program coming in as a folder and then trying to override my files and look into all my stuff, that's getting blocked. So I'm going to go ahead and now I've gone ahead and put it in the Akasha and I've saved that. I'm going to let it upload and then I'm going to try to save this again. Okay, it didn't save because it's still loading in the Akasha. Oh, and this, it's hopefully it's not taking this literally. Hold on. Okay, good, it's not. Because then if it's shattered like this, where I put these different things in, it's basically saying that it's going to break the AXI system and the disk image, and then it's going to break the floating points of the planet. And that's not what I want. Okay. And because I'm typing up speech, there's actually magic in here as I'm typing it up and it's saving in the Akasha. Okay. Okay, it's gonna go ahead and save. It's not gonna go just yet. And then there's two other things. I have to go ahead and use this speech against the spell against this speech. Okay, document still cannot be saved. Because this is what they just put this on the computer today. So it's going to take a while, but basically what my computer is doing is it's telling me that, oh, I want to save to this, but there's some type of encoding that they're putting on the files and things like that to save it. I don't accept that, so I'm not going to go ahead and save, right? Because they just did this within the last like hour or two, or not playing on everyone's computer. It's a chemical server from space. It's like the last of that chemical to try to overpower the environment. So let's go ahead and see. So we're gonna wait and we're gonna go ahead and write speech. And yeah, I can, let me see. I would have to write a speech on my computer real quick. Yeah, I can do that. It will work. Then I'm gonna go ahead and then I'm gonna what's this thing called? Octagon. Symbol. Okay. Okay. So this is what we're gonna go ahead and do. Now, what's going to end up happening here is there's going to be like a complete disbursement of like a specific type of chemical that's on the internet. That's and like everyone's computer and server and the electrical grid, right? So that when you plug your computer in, there's like a something that communicates with the grid. They put something on the electrical grid to be able to run this type of programming. Because remember, they're tapping into several computers and grids at once to feed off everyone's electricity and memory and stuff like that. Because in some ways, you can also trace back certain technologies back to a specific grid that's putting out certain type of floating points and frequencies. So putting out certain frequencies that will then manifest as numerical floating points in code. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna do this, and then I'm gonna hope that this stops some of that chemical server as well. But there's more that needs to be added to that. Okay, so let me keep on writing speech. I'm just gonna go ahead and let that break. And that's like something really important that like just you guys are seeing here. Okay, but why isn't it saving? No, and that's why. So some of you guys are gonna go put certain things on your computer. Yeah, it's still breaking the chemical server that's like bringing this type of encoding into everyone's like computer, which is also bringing a type of like screen share too, and another type of screen share. Okay, So I'm gonna go ahead and close this real quick. And save that. And then, oh, I need to also accept the Akasha for bringing this type of speech down onto my computer. Because as I'm typing it, it's bringing the geometric pattern. Okay. Mhm. Okay. So let me go ahead and okay, it's saved because I moved it. Yeah. And then there's also something that's in that file too that she's bringing to my attention that somebody needs to see a computer science, and it's something with bitwise operations, and something with like a new type of bitwise operation that they've been playing with. Hmm. How they explain it. Okay, so one of the things that is going to happen here is now that that's done, let me go ahead and put this back in. There was like a few things in this file too, because ooh, okay, you see this? You see how my computer is like doing this? There's like something going on with a query, and then there's something going on with the cycle, and then object life cycle here. Because there's some other type of process running around this whole entire thing that's getting blocked from my computer. And it's like still lagging because they're putting some bullshit on everyone's computer all at once. Oh, oops. All right, you guys. So that's what I have for you. This is going to keep on going. Let me just go check the activity monitor. Something also came out earlier. There was like something with the Wi-Fi too. Different public Wi-Fi's being connected to some slices and sharding system. Like this one. The system of databases conjoining to manifest with the third, with a specific, like it's like right here, it says, I have a system of databases conjoining with their database to manifest the third, with a specific library with capacity for data storage and memory storage, and separate libraries. I can merge in their system and I can overpower their system with the main library that then brings a floating point and a master C plus Pascal Python library to create a slice and a shard that can overpower and invert their entire system into this shard slice. I don't call it a shard, like a shard slice, right? Not a full shard, but not a full slice either, for complete memory takeover. And then look at this, Zoom. Yeah, of course, Zoom's going to take up a lot of like the CPU right now, but this Windows server and how it's been running for like several hours. But I have a video from earlier too, and it wasn't that high. I didn't have it for that long, and it wasn't that high. This is like saying that there's some type of program that's running now that's been running for the past like 27 something hours. Okay. So one of the things here is when I show that video from earlier, because somebody's gonna ask me, why were you looking at this earlier? Because I was trying to log onto a Wi-Fi and it was like hacked and tapped and my computer wouldn't let me get onto that Wi-Fi because it was blocking it because I put some coding on it. So now, what's happening here is you guys are seeing that they're playing with this computer again because something has broken here with some type of hacking tool and some type of technology, and they're trying to use like a new, like some other bitch that has no melanin in his face and playing with some other chemical server and starting a bunch of bullshit. So now that this folder has been like it's been like edited, that's kind of like the way that I reset it. I removed the file from that folder, saved it, and then put it back in again, and it was having some issues with the runtime because remember, this is bringing in a bunch of magic too that's fighting that what's in that folder. So this is just the way that they're playing on the internet, and I hope that helps you guys. Please go ahead and use speech to go ahead and help yourself. You guys should be coding, saving your things, and getting ready for the class that's next week. Again, I put the registration for the coding class. It's on my wall. If you check my YouTube channel, just go on my